Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE and compare it against the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE and see which particular phone is a better one for you. Now, the thing I can definitely tell you between both of these is that, as always, if you have all the money in the world, please go ahead and buy something like a Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. This thing has, more capability, more power inside of it. But I will also probably say that if you have the money, I would just go for the standard Samsung Galaxy S24 in the used market. I feel like that would be a much better option and a much better deal for the average person. And I do think that might be the better option and better way to go than buying something like either one of these, to be honest. So if you want to pick up either one of those phones for the cheapest prices that I find, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones, the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE, which came out, last year, on the front of this phone is giving you a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED display. And it's a pretty good panel, right? It's 1080p. It gets up to 1450 nits of brightness, which again is also something very, very nice going on here. And you're also getting a 120 Hz display on that particular phone as well. So that kind of stuff is actually very nice to have. Like, it's a very good, well-built phone from that particular perspective. And it's going to hold up fairly well for the next couple of years as well, which is another really cool thing. So the display itself is pretty good. On the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE, this is a little bit of a different story because now they've increased the size to be more similar to something like the Galaxy S24 Plus. So the S24 FE is giving you a 6.7-inch dynamic AMOLED display on the front of that particular device. It's still 120 Hz, still 1080p. However, the brightness has gone up about 450 nits. So now we're getting 1900 nits of brightness on that particular device. So that can be a pretty big advantage if you're trying to go through and get a device. It is really nice to have a device like that that's going to be giving you a significantly brighter display. So personally for me, I'm a really big fan of that type of capability right there as well. Now on top of that, they're both giving you USB Type-C ports on the bottom, which again is always nice to have. They're both giving you the aluminum frames, SIM card slots. On the back side, you are getting a standard glass back, which again is a very nice type of back to have here. And personally for me, I think that is a really nice thing to have there too. And then you're getting a triple camera setup in the top left corner. So I think this is another really nice thing to have. Like, having that triple camera setup is very, very nice. And we'll talk about that in a second. Some other big things to keep in mind here too is the fact that they're both, built really well. The S24 FE is going to be an overall bigger sized phone than the S23 FE. You're also getting things like a bigger, basically reverse wireless charging inside of the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE as well. The S23 FE also has it. So those are some really nice things going on for both of these phones when it comes down to it. So from the exterior, that kind of covers it up there. Now, another very big thing going on here too is the fact that with the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE, this phone, is a little bit more expensive than the S23 FE. So from a brand new price perspective, the S24 FE right now on Amazon is about $650. The S23 FE is pretty much less than $300 in the used market. So you kind of have to keep that in the back of your head that the S24 FE brand new is like twice the price of a used S23 FE. So that right there is like one big thing to kind of keep in mind. But another thing you're going to have to remember too is the fact that with the Galaxy S24 FE, this phone is a little bit more expensive than a used Galaxy S24 in the used market. So like, why would you even want to go buy a brand new S24 FE when you can buy why buy a brand new S24 FE when you can buy a used S24 and get a significantly better phone pretty much for a cheaper price, So that right there is like another big thing to keep in mind there as well. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. Now from the camera side of things, both of these particular phones are basically giving you triple camera setups, and they're almost identically the same type of cameras. So they're both 50 megapixel wide, 8 megapixel telephoto, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. And you're also basically getting the same 10 megapixel wide angle camera on the front. Both can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back, but then they both can do 8K on the back as well. So there's like pretty much no difference here when it comes down to the whole entire camera quality of both these devices. The main thing I could probably tell you though is probably for the average person out there is that both of these phones are probably going to be giving you a very, very good experience when it comes down to it. And I personally do think that is a very big thing to kind of keep in mind. Like, if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, it's a really, really nice phone to have on both sides of these things. Now, if I were you, I would probably go through and pick up the S24 FE because that one is going to probably be giving you a little bit of a better experience. But even then, like I said before, why even buy either one of these phones when you can buy something like a Samsung Galaxy S24 and get a significantly better phone for the average person from that particular perspective? So I think inside of applications like Snapchat and those particular apps, phone's going to be perfectly fine on both of them. But if I were you and if I were to go through and pick up a device, it probably would end up being something like a Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. That's probably going to be the better one here. Now, in terms of the software perspective, this is another very big thing to keep in mind here too. So between both of these phones, one of the things you have to keep in mind here is that if you're going to go through and pick up a device, getting the device that's going to be giving you the longer lasting software support is always going to be the better option. So when it comes down to both of these particular phones, the S24 FE is going to be the one that's probably going to be lasting the longer period of time, right? So if you're wanting the phone that's going to be lasting you a longer period of time, you might as well go for and swing for something like the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. I think that device makes probably the most amount of sense for the average person. But, the S23 FE is still supported with software. That phone is still going to be supported with software for many, many, many years to come. So it's not like anytime soon you're going to be noticing any big differences or anything like that. Like I said before, both these devices are still going to be here. They're still going to be supported with software, but the S24 FE is probably going to be lasting a longer period of time. From a battery life perspective, they're roughly around the same. The S23 FE's battery was 4,500 milliamp where the S24 FE's battery is 4,700 milliamp. So if you're looking at both these devices, you're probably going to be getting probably better battery life on the S24 FE, but both are fairly close, both are fairly similar. But if you're wanting the device that's going to be giving you the overall better battery life, it probably will end up being something like the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE when it kind of comes down to it. Now, on top of those things, when it comes down to the whole entire performance side, this is also another very interesting thing going on here. So if we look at the performance, they're both giving you Exynos chipsets inside. The Galaxy S23 FE can give you that Exynos 2200 chipset or the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 if you're in the USA. For the S24 FE, you're basically getting that Exynos 2400 chipset, which is equivalent to, it's better than the Exynos version of the S23 FE. Now, you're also getting 8 gigabytes of RAM on both of these models here. So no matter which particular phone you're getting, you're basically getting an 8 gigabyte of RAM option. And the thing I will probably tell you between both these phones here is that whatever phone you're probably going to be getting, you're probably going to be getting a very, very good performing device for today's standards. I think both these devices are great. If you're getting the Exynos version, it may not be the best experience of all time, but I will still tell you, you're getting a really good experience from both these types of devices. With something like the S23 FE, with that Snapdragon chipset version, it was a really good performing device and I had a really good time with it. And the same thing could be said with the S24 FE as well. That phone has been extremely fast. I've played a bunch of games on it. I've done a lot of testing on it. And so far, it's been really, really fun. But I really don't even think that they're that big of a difference between one another. So really the biggest thing you're going to notice is the size. So what I can definitely tell you in to sum up this whole entire video, I like both of these phones, right? I definitely do think if you're going to go through and pick up either one of these phones, you're going to be having a really, really good time with it. And I think that's a really nice thing going on for both these types of devices. But what I will tell you is that if you have the money, obviously go for the S24 FE, but I wouldn't even get that phone. I would go through and I would buy something like a Samsung Galaxy S24, a standard one in the used market. I think that would be a better option for the average person than going through and buying something like a Samsung Galaxy S24 FE or buying something like a Galaxy S23 FE in my personal opinion. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.